I've got this bricked Hikvision DVR, not that kind of brick. When I plug it in like this, turn it on like this, I'm presented with a screen like this. Which, what this means is, it's firmware bricked. This could have been from like someone doing an update and suddenly the box lost power, and when it's come back on it's stuck on this screen. Or it could be somebody's fired the wrong firmware over and you end up with the same thing. Now, I mean, I've not fixed one of these for a while, and I could have sworn the last time I fixed one of these, the logo would come on the screen and it would stay on the screen rather than this one's bootlooping. So I don't know if it's going to be the same fix, but I suppose we've got to find out. So we'll need the model number off the bat, and then we'll need this.
Sorry, wrong pocket.
I mean this, and we'll get to fixing it. Right, somebody's taken the bloody R drive cables. Lovely. Okay, so here we've got a UART port. I'll measure it for you. It's about 9mm by 5mm. And what we'll need now is a voltage meter in beat mode. Ground this on the screw here, and then let me just zoom you in a little bit. Like that, that'll do. You still can't see much. Let me just turn a torch on real quick. Should do the job. There we go. Right, let's test these pins. The only pin that matters is the only pin that beeps. The middle two pins, they'll be RX and TX. And as you can see, this pin here is beeping. So we know that's ground. What we'll do now is I'll grab a pen and I'll mark this side of the port so I don't forget which side ground's on. Like this. Bosh. Now we'll need this. It's a little UART tool. The serial's on the back here. It's a CP2102. Got it off eBay. It's only a couple quid, £2-3. Or you can get them for about 10 grand off Amazon if you're impatient. When it arrives, it comes with these little cables here. So what I've done is you basically plug these onto the ground and the RX and the TX, and then the other side I've gone and got a 3-pin JST lead. I'll measure it for you in a second and you can see what the lead is. You can get one of these that has a switch on it, so when you use the UART you have to make sure it's on 3V rather than 5V. Here's the little lead. It's roughly about 7mm by 4mm. Right, so we've connected orange to ground on here, and then where the orange connects to the JST lead, I've connected to a red cable, and that's on the end of the port. So when I plug the JST lead into the port here, I know that red is going to be ground, so the red is going to go to where we put the blue little dot. Right, I'll just move it where you can see, and then we'll plug it into the side that's marked, and then what will happen then is there'll be one pin that's left over. That's the 5V pin, or the voltage pin. We don't need that one, so that's why I use a 3-pin rather than a 4-pin. So then I know that as long as I'm on my ground, I'll never confuse a cable, basically. Right, the ground's on. RX and TX, they can just be chucked on in any order because the board's not marked, so we'll find out when we're on a laptop what order they're supposed to be in. So let's plug her in. The first thing we'll do is we'll get on the old Google and we'll download the firmware. What I've done is typed in the model number followed by firmware, and usually the top link is your firmware, but because this box is about 900 years old, it's about 10 years old, the top link isn't the firmware, unfortunately, so I've got to go through all the portal to try and find it. But if you've got a modern box, yours will most likely be the top link. Right, so the link I've clicked there, that's roughly given me around the right firmware. It's one of these anyway. So it's just scroll through, find which one, and then usually you get like a PDF when you click one of the folders. So the best thing to do is open up a PDF, and if it says it's compatible for your box, then that'll be the firmware for it. So we've got a PDF. So if we scroll all the way down to the bottom, it should give us all the boxes it's compatible on, and hopefully the one we're trying to fix is on there. There we go, the second one. Finally bloody found it. So we'll grab that, get it downloaded, and we'll try and chuck her on. So on the download screen, the fourth one is the only one that matches with the DS-HQHI. So I'll give that a download, fire that over. If that doesn't work, I'll come back and get the top one there, which is for a 4-channel, and try that. Firmware downloaded, bosh. Clicking on network down here, open network and internet settings. Over here, click on Ethernet. Then click on change adapter options. Then we right click properties. We go down to Internet Protocol version 4, and then we tap use following IP address 192.0.0.128, and then when you click your sub, it'll automatically add for you. And then we click OK. Lovely. Now what we've got to use is TFTP64. You can download that off Google, same as PuTTY when we use that in a minute. We're going to click server interface, and we're going to scroll down and find the IP address that we made, which will be right there, the one with the 128 and all the zeros and stuff. Then we'll click show directory, and then we'll explore it, and what we'll do is we'll get the firmware we've downloaded and we'll chuck it in there, and that's all set up, ready to be fired over to the box. I'm just going to delete this U-boot out of there because that was what I was using to fix the camera. I don't need that anymore. So we'll paste the firmware in and continue. And that's all set up now. That's sorted. So over to the next program. Here we go. We're just going to check the device manager so we can find out the COM port number real quick before we open up PuTTY. And then we know we can type it in because the device manager will tell us. I'll also show you, I have my baud rate settings and whatnot all set to this, so if you bought the tool new and it's not got that in, you can just add that in when you see it. When you first use this tool, you'll have to get the drivers off Google, because mine didn't have it when I got it a while ago. Okay, PuTTY time. So we open up PuTTY, and we know our COM port was COM3 when we checked in the device manager. So we'll slap COM3 in there. Also select serial before you do that. The baud rate for Hikvision stuff, for most stuff, is 115200. So we slap that in there. Then you can give it a name in that little box there. Then if you click save, say if you need to reuse it or the first attempt don't go right, you can just load it back in and go again. Now we'll open it and we'll get this little terminal ready for us. So we'll power on the box and then we'll spam Control and U at the same time to try and break the boot. And nothing's happening, because it does help if you turn it on at the wall first. So okay, let's try again. So power on and spam Control U and keep spamming it, and eventually we will get any time now. Apparently nothing, because what this means is that the RX and TX is the wrong way around. Now sometimes, a lot of the time, most of the time, you'll get a load of gibberish thrown on the terminal, but this time it's not done it. So we're going to switch them over and go again. There we go. Lovely. Now we'll plug that back in and open up PuTTY again and repeat the process. This time we can just click load and then open, and we're straight in because we made the preset. Right, so let's power on and start spamming Control U again. And we are in. About bloody time. So, what we need to do now is, we need to press U, hit enter, and follow along with the process. So, device IP. Hikvision is always 192.0.0.64. And then we hit enter. And then server will be what we set our IP to. So 192.0.0.128. And then we hit enter again. And then it's going to ask us, do we want to update? And we press yes. Or it'll say confirm, and you press Y and enter. Y for yes. Higmac init fail. I sounded very British. I know what I've done. Like an absolute donut. I've gone and forgot the bloody Ethernet cable, haven't I? I'll show my mistakes. So, we'll get this Ethernet cable and we'll plug it in here. And we'll plug it in here. And then we'll go again. 192.0.0.64. Hit enter. 192.0.0.128. Hit enter again, and then we'll press Y to confirm it. And this time, there we go. Lovely. So we'll let that whiz through, and we'll see what happens. Alrighty, it's all done. So let's hit enter and we'll power it down, plug her in, HDMI and all that, and we'll see if it's fixed, hopefully. We can unplug that. We can also unplug that, the thing we forgot. Unplug that. Then we can also unplug that, and we'll get on to testing it. HDMI in, power on. Ooh, we've got the beep, as usual. Is anything going to happen today? Come on. Anytime now. Right, so we got to there again. Now where have we got? Come on. Oh, well, this doesn't look good, does it? Anytime now. Is it one of these boxes that takes about 12 weeks to turn on? Yes! Let's go! We're in. Lovely. Right. I will get this nailed back together, and I can enter a password and see how it does. Righty. Ugh, password is in. It's all working as it should. Ready to be bricked another day. Yeah, running sweet. There's all the info. I'll show you in a sec. I'm on which screen am I on? There we go. This one. That's what firmware I used. And apparently it's 1970. Who would have known? Anyway, if you enjoyed that, smash a little like, subscribe, and we got there in the end. Shut up, you. Asking for an hard drive. I'll catch you in the next one. Ta-ra. Oh, and turn on the bell. Thank you. Bye.